Hello everybody, I'm Seibenlore, here to bring you more Magic the Gathering lore. Today, let's continue our 25 cards of Christmas with card number 12, Ashling the Pilgrim. Ashling is a Flamekin, an elemental similar in size and shape to humans. They live in the mountains of Lorwyn, and are a passionate race of warriors and shamans who use their inner fire to craft weapons and spells in battle. The Flamekin on Lorwyn are sworn enemies of the elves, who use their tree folk allies to suppress the Flamekin and confine them to their mountain homes. To Ashling's tribe, there is a sacred rite of passage that all Flamekin must go through in order to enhance their inner fire. But due to their current conflict with the tree folk and elves, many of the Flamekin refuse to go on this pilgrimage. The journey has Ashling leave her mountain home in search of a greater elemental, which is a force of nature that symbolizes the qualities all Flamekin hope to strive for. As she leaves her tribe, she follows the whispering voice of the greater elemental, hoping to gain its favor and blessing. Her fate with the greater elemental intertwined with a Glitleaf elf named Rise, who was an outlaw to his tribe. She first bumped into the elf in the Kithkin city of Kinsbale. Rise explained his situation and told Ashling that he had seen the greater elemental she was seeking. Ashling decided to keep close to the elf, hoping he could point her in the direction of her destiny. But the elves who sought to capture Rise for his crimes found where they were staying and sent in troops to fetch him. The Kithkin of Kinsbale wanted to help the elves capture this fugitive in order to appease the zealous elf commander, Nath, and his tree folk advisor, Kolfinor. The leader of Kinsbale ordered his greatest champion, Bridget Bailey, to fetch the wayward elf and bring him back to face justice. Unbeknownst to all involved, the tree folk Kolfinor had his own objectives in Kinsbale. He knew the Flame Kid Ashling was taking the pilgrimage, so he captured the messenger malls who were bringing the order to Bridget and changed their message. He changed the order from find and capture Rise to find and capture the Flamekin Ashling. Bridget did as she was commanded and tracked the Flamekin. She used water and doused Ashling, rendering her defenseless and severely injured. The Kithkin hero brought the elemental back and placed her in the custody of Kolfinor. In her final hour, her flame was set to be extinguished forever, but the greater elemental for which she sought appeared to her in her cell. A surge of energy from the elemental's blessing rekindled her fire and put Kolfinor to flames, obliterating the treefolk. But this was always the plan of the treefolk. He in fact captured the greater elemental and staged the two to meet. This forced Ashling's ascension prematurely. Even the greater elemental was enraged by the forced transformation. Forcing such a change when neither being was prepared for it caused great consequences. Ashling was overcome by a feeling of failure, and she could find no joy in her existence. She would regularly experience seizure-like states when she heard and felt the presence of the elemental nearby. She decided to take vengeance on the only being she could think of, the greater elemental itself. She blamed this elemental for causing her so much pain and falsely believed that it was the element's plan to corrupt her purpose. She went back to her hometown and confronted those who may have information on the elemental. In the Emberfell Monastery, she confronted the monks there demanding answers. The monks defended their sanctuary and stated that she must ascend properly or be destroyed. Ashling used her borrowed elemental powers to quickly defeat the stone titan which was summoned by the monks. Unsatisfied by their response, she confronted the leader of the Emberfell monks. This ancient flamekin again told Ashling that she must undergo a ritual in order for her to ascend properly to her destiny. This time she agreed, and was faced with a shadow reality filled with distorted, feral flamekin. She used her powers to reignite these warped flamekin, and she finally discovered her true purpose. A great shadow was coming to Lorwyn, and the flamekin needed to use Ashling's body as a vessel to bring their people's fire through the darkness. She agreed to the ritual, and they climbed to the highest peak and began. The shadow was approaching. The shadowing mirror of Lorwyn itself descended upon the plain. The dark counterpart was known as Shadowmoor, and soon the two planes would collide, leaving the world forever in the shadows. The ritual was meant to make Ashling a supreme being that would rule and guide the Flamekin through the shadows, enduring the change for her people. However, Ashling had enough of being used for the purpose of others, and took on her new powers by force. Lorwyn gave place to the dreadful Shadowmoor, with Ashling becoming one of the mightiest beings in it. On Shadowmoor, Ashling was known as the Extinguisher, and was both worshipped and hated by the Cinders. The Cinders were once the Flamekin who had been twisted and corrupted by Shadowmoor. They blamed Ashling for their disturbing state. Her vengeance knew no bounds, as she laid waste to many places in Shadowmoor, driven by her desire to end those who had abused her. Yet she was eventually met by resistance, and her power was stolen from her by the malicious fairy Una. Finally seeing clearly for the first time since Shadowmoor descended upon the world, Ashling now works together with other heroes to help end the tyrannical rule of Una. So, there you go guys, the lore behind Ashling the Pilgrim in the 12th card of Christmas. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and make sure you return tomorrow for the next card of Christmas. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.